So I think that's, you know, as we got going in the year, it's funny when you, I've been on teams where we struggled, we weren't where we needed to be, and when you're going up against the same guys, you have no way of knowing, like, really how good you are. Like, you may think you're really good or you think you're really bad, but you have no idea because it's the same dudes. And then after a while, you're like, ah, we're really not very good. Or then you're going a while and you're like, okay, like there's days of practice last year I'm going, God, I don't think we're very good, or I don't know if we're very good at, you know, you just look at players, after a while you're like, when we play other people, you're like, no, actually we're really good. And I mean that collectively as a team. I think there's a moment, irrespective of the quarterback, where you're like, okay, we're really good on defense, and we can be really good on offense. Now when that happened, that was a few games into the year. Sure as hell wasn't after Clemson. But after a few games, you started feeling that. You know, you started feeling, I think we can be pretty good, you know. And irrespective of who the quarterback was, because both of them were good players. It was never like where you thought, boy, it's this much or the other. So, you know, as we kept going along, we thought that, you know, Stetson's mobility gave us a chance, you know, a little bit different in terms of who we were going with. But at some point I thought, no, we can win it with either one of those at quarterback. Okay. You were asking about Brock and Gunnar, or were you asking about Carson? We asked which one?
The two younger ones.
Okay, so Brock, both are tremendous players. Brock, obviously, has been here longer, but his playmaking ability is tremendous. I mean, he's got a chance, just like Gunnar does. I think both of them have a chance to be a tremendous players here. I really do. They're different in the way they go about it, and their personalities, which is normal. You're never going to have. You could have three kids and they have different personalities, all of them. So you have the same thing at quarterback, but you love them all. You know, it's kind of that way. Like, all right, this one's a little more quiet, this one goes about it, you know, and this one's a little more outgoing, and you know, but both of them are going to be tremendous players. It just stinks because I think we have a really good quarterback room. People look at it and think like, well, they don't have a good quarterback room because Stetson Bennett is playing quarterback. No, Stetson's a really good player. Those guys are really good players. And I think they're going to continue to get better. And we ask a lot of them. We do a lot of quarterback controlled here. So there's a lot that we ask them to do, which makes it hard initially.
Coach over here, yeah, back to the tight ends again. You know, it's a fascinating position group of guys you got in there. And last year you pretty much warned us what Brock Bowers was and how many different ways you could, you know, use this guy. Now we see Eric Gilbert out there. You know, Darnell's obviously healthy. I mean, how different? I mean, I know it's called tight end, but it sure does look like you've got different positions within the positions. And how does Gilbert shake out? We saw red zone usage in G-Day, but outside of that, what do you see ahead for him?
Well, Eric, a lot like Brock, is a unique talent. You know, their skill set. Eric's a little bit different in that Eric has wide receiver background and route running. Good with the ball in his hands, run after catch. Where Brock's background is more get the ball in his hands, H-back, fullback, run after catch is probably the difference. So as Brock needs to continue to develop his route running, he's one of those guys just get in his hands. And he's got better catch radius than I thought, where Eric is more of a route runner. He's been in that, I mean, in terms of what he's developed, almost like an air raid Y, you know. So that's been a part of that. Both of them have unique skill set. We didn't know exactly what we had with Brock. We knew he was rare in how he worked and how every day he came. How that developed and kept going, you know, we kind of fell into it, you know, as you just kept going, like, you know, like we knew he was fast, and then all of a sudden that UAB catching around, like, I don't know, that's different. You know, the GPS says one thing in the field, feel like, wow, that's pretty good. We got to keep trying that, you know, or I'm just an idiot. And not having Darnell, because Darnell's a unique talent, but he has the foot issue and you can't use him, and he's a unique talent. And keeping him healthy, keeping all those guys healthy because they're different. You know, that's probably the best way to put it is, you know, who are your unique skill sets that you can take advantage of matchups. That Wes Welker at one time was an X for the Dolphins. And trading him to the Patriots turned him into a Hall of Famer, playing the F position. You know, certain guys, certain backs, if you utilize their skill set, you're going to enable them to excel, and that's what we're paid to do.
Take two.
It's fair in the fact that I do like to throw it. I think people think that I don't like to throw it. And I'm paid to score. I'm not paid to win. I'm paid to add as part of that, but to score. But I'm also paid to be responsible to winning. And so there's a big part of that where they think that Kirby dictates what we do on offense. No, he dictates that we be smart. He dictates that we be explosive and that we utilize our personnel and do everything in our power to win games for the University of Georgia. And that's what we should be doing. And believe me, when I'm thinking game plan wise, I'm thinking about how we can be explosive and yet how we can run the ball to help us be explosive. It all fits together. And you can't control the game if you can't run the ball comfortably. You can't. You cannot control the game. You can have a bunch of statistics that make it look better, make you feel better. But if you can't run the ball comfortably, you can't win the game. And that's from a guy who likes to throw it. And my whole background's wideouts and quarterbacks. So I do want to throw it. I enjoy throwing it. 2 years ago against Mississippi State here, we couldn't run it. We didn't run it very good at all. That was on me. We threw for 400 yards, thank God, and we won the game. Cincinnati, we turned it over a bunch and didn't run it nearly as well. Well, luckily we could throw it. I think the biggest thing is, are you able to, when you're not having success at one or the other, you're not just one-dimensional. You're not just a running team where, okay, we get behind, we're having trouble throwing it, or we're a passing team, then when we have to run it, we can't. But you know, it's out there. It's part of it. It's unfair because you have to do whatever you need to do to win the game, and that's be explosive and not turn it over.